So, no, I wouldn't say I have a passion for HR.
Welcome back to Human Resources for the People. It's a human capital revolution. Today we're going to be talking about this recent release from the National Labor Relations Board. So the National Labor Relations Board governs the National Labor Relations Act, and by extension, they are responsible for the inner workings of labor in the United States. The board itself is appointed by the president, and as a result is subject to political changes and political wins. And that's really important to understand in the context of the National Labor Relations Board, because they frequently go back and forth on different topics and they believe different things depending on who's the president. And that makes it the life of the human resources manager who is trying to interpret these wins very difficult, because the results are, or the actual function of your job can frequently change just based on who's president. So we'll talk about this today from the National Labor Relations Board. They released unfair labor practice charges up 10%. Union petitions are up 3% in the fiscal year of 2023. And they said, well, the National Labor Relations Board has got increasing demand for its services. Now let's talk about what that means here real quick. And what that means is, this is from Society for Human Resource Management, and it's a small example of what's happening here. And so they said, the NLRB is changing the rule for recognizing unions. So the National Labor Relations Board changed it. They ruled that when a union requests recognition, that a majority of employees in a bargaining unit supported the union, employer must recognize and bargain with the union or promptly file. So what's happening here, that's a massive change to the process, to what was happening previously. Their changes are intended to promote a fair election environment, better realize employees' rights to bargain collectively, and discourage employers from committing unfair labor practices. So to go back to this document, it says, well, they've continued to see an increasing demand for its services. Yeah, that's true. They've continued to see an increasing demand for its services because they created the demand. They created an excess of issues, and as a result, they have created a workforce that needs them. And that's what you're seeing here, right? So they saw an increase in both unfair labor practice charges and representation activity. That's as a result of changes that happened to the National Labor Relations process. And they see unfair labor practices increasing by 10%. And again, that is entirely as a result, or not entirely, but a good portion of that is a result of the changes in dynamics and the creation of a political, or I say creation, but that's not quite true, but the political winds having changed. There's an increase in union representations filed, a 3% increase. That doesn't seem significant considering the changes that have occurred within the National Labor Relations Board, but you would think that you would see a significant more, especially coming out of the pandemic and everything that came with it. However, in the change from 2022 over 2021 was 53%. So unions took advantage of the changes last year, and they're not seeing a huge increase since then. And I think that's interesting to note. I imagine that this is low-hanging fruit, and the unions have nowhere else to turn. I don't know exactly, and I don't know what that huge uptick means when there was such a small one over the previous fiscal year. This is them then whining about a corresponding increase in the adjudicative side of the agency. Of course, you're going to need more adjudication when you have changed the rules, because once you've changed the rules significantly, employers don't know what to do and can break these, previously break these rules that were previously legal or previously accepted. And the National Labor Relations Board has then taken this opportunity to say that they need more money. They got a $25 million increase from Congress in December of 2022 right here, and that's pretty significant. Although, what is that? One round of funding for Ukraine, something like that. Not even. But so the National Labor Relations Board was able to backfill some allegedly critical staff vacancies, but they're still understaffed. Even under the Obama administration, staffing in field offices has shrunk by 50%. And so this is mostly a plea for money, right? They want more money, but they need more money because they have, effectively changed the rules of the game, changed the rules of engagement, and so they need, to be able to manage those rules appropriately. Let me know what you think about these changes in the National Labor Relations Board and the overall landscape in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.